So your band's on an upswing. Everything's going good. You're selling lots of merch. You're booking dates, getting lots of streams, swimming in pussy. Everything is great and it couldn't be better. Now you think you should take it to the next level. You think, should we go for a label or not? Well, may not be as easy as you think it is, but it might be. So stick around. Let's talk about it.
Game over.
What's up, gang? This is Ian, your very friendly neighborhood Viking, coming back at you again with another Motivational Monday video. This week, we're talking about if you should go for a label or stay independent. This question has come up so many times with so many different bands. Even our band, we have been conflicted by this more times than we can think of. Being formerly on a label and then doing things mostly independent for most of our career, we've kind of done a little bit of both. Obviously not grand scheme label stuff, obviously, but we have done some. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, everything is going great for you. Couldn't be better. All your streams are up, your videos are getting viewed, your stuff is getting shared, all of your social media is going well, you have great attendance at shows, everything's just going great. Couldn't be better. And you guys think this is how it should be. If we're doing this well on our own, we could be doing 10 times better on a label, right? So let's go get that label. It's not always quite that easy. A lot of times, if they want you, they'll come to you. But also, they don't just sit around looking for bands all day long. So a lot of times, you have to go to them. Now, with every other thing you have ever done in your life where it has caused you to make a decision, you have to weigh your pros and your cons. Simple, right? Let's go over the pros of having a label. Obviously, the distribution, which is one of the most important things. Your name is on their roster, and people want to look at that. They want to know what bands are on it. Promotion, obviously. There's potential with endorsement deals. There is a million doors that could be opened with you having a label, with you getting more exposure, more streams, more views on YouTube, all that stuff. But let's be honest here, like, it doesn't always equate to dollars. Hopefully, you will make some money at it. It would be great to make enough to sustain a lifestyle. That'd be amazing. But even if it's enough to where you're not losing money on a regular basis, you'll take it for now. Huge pros right there. All the good stuff that you can imagine and you think is a possibility, those are all pros. Great reasons why people love labels. Great reasons why people want to be on them. You know, those are there. And they're there because they do that for the artist. That's the obvious stuff. This is from our experience, and this is my point of view right now. The cons are pretty hard, honestly. It's a very uphill battle from a lot of things that I've seen. Some of these things can be helped if you're in a good city to be in. You know what I mean? If you're in like a small town like we are, that kind of makes it difficult for us. If you're in a bigger city with a lot more diverse crowd and just even more people just in general, you're already in a better position. You have to take that into account. The cons from what we have seen is obviously all of your social media stats have to be decently far up there. Your YouTube plays, your Spotify streams, all of that kind of stuff has to be at a good amount. You might have an awesome song and nobody's really heard it. But this other band has a song that sucks and everybody's heard it. They'll probably get the deal before you. Labels work pretty simply. If you are already making money, they know that they can make money off of you. And they'll do that. That's how they work. It is a business at the end of the day, and it has to make money. With labels, one of the biggest cons that we have noticed is that they want to sign you to a development deal before they sign you to be on their roster. What is a development deal? Well, it's exactly what I said it is. It's where they take you and they develop you into a marketable package. And that's awesome because that lets somebody from the outside tell you, hey, you need to get this up, you need to do this, we need to do this. And they kind of shape you into what's gonna be a really potentially marketable package. That's great. But that comes with a hefty price tag. And I'm fat, so I know hefty. And when I say hefty, I mean from what we have seen in the multiple thousands of dollars a month they want to charge you. And this can run for 6 months to a year on average. So if you're paying $2,000 a month for a year, that's $24,000 that you have to have as a band to just spend. It has to be expendable income that you guys have. I don't know about you, but I don't have it. If you have it and you can do that, great. You have nothing to worry about. Go for it. Go nuts. If you're like the rest of us and you just kind of don't, you're going to have to weigh your other options. A lot of you will question, is the age of labels gone? Are they dead? Are they obsolete? Some of you will argue yes. Some of you will argue no, obviously. I think that they have their place. And most of the bands that we've ever heard, we would have never heard them if it hadn't been for the label. So we have to obviously thank them for that. And they do a lot of good. They do, they sign new bands and they get them out there and they expose them to all this. They do all the label stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're great and they are needed. But can you get by on your own? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Now there's a lot of really awesome bands out there. A lot of bands that I listen to that are entirely independent. There's a lot of bands that used to be on labels that are independent now. Because labels charge you. You have to pay insane amounts of money to distribute through these places. Or, if you get your record printed, that costs money. And it costs a lot of money normally. And you have to pay for ridiculous fees and attorneys and all this shit. When you are not making enough back to comfortably pay for that stuff, it becomes very difficult on you, on your band, on your home life. Obviously, stress levels go through the roof. It's insane. Money will make or break almost any situation. So it is something that you very seriously have to take into account. All of us would love to have somebody just do that for us. And so we can focus on what's important, the music. But that's not how it is these days. You have to think about what can you do for yourself. You have to be manager, booking agent, songwriter, distribution guy, social media expert. You gotta be all that nowadays. And that's tough. It's very tricky. If you're not keeping up with it, then you're falling behind. Because I guarantee you, somebody else is. And they're gonna smoke your ass in no time. Most labels, when they want to sign a band, they will follow that band for 6 months or a year and see how they're doing. See if they're being consistent, see if they're putting out new material, see if they're constantly moving. You should also do the same. If you have a label in mind that you're looking at, and if you notice that they don't update their website at least semi-regular basis, they don't post that often, they don't do hardly anything. If they don't do hardly anything for anybody else, it's kind of safe to say that they probably won't do much for you either. You have to judge their work ethic as much as they are judging your work ethic. It has to be a team. You guys have to both work together to create whatever you're trying to do. That being said, you have to make sure that your work ethic is up to par. That means, like I've said a million times, being consistent, constantly trying to make new songs, constant rehearsals, book shows when we can start booking shows again, all of that stuff. You have to make moves. So your work ethic has to be on par, if not even better. If you can have it, ideally, your work ethic should be so good that other people go, yo, do you have somebody else working for you that does that for you? That's where you want it to be. You want it to be like somebody works full time on your shit. They don't even think that it's you. How could somebody like you be doing all the other stuff that you have to do, jobs and families and all that stuff, and be doing this too? Make sure that your work ethic is matched to theirs and vice versa. The make or break situations, like I said before, is always money. It always. It will destroy your band. It will destroy your life at some point. It's a thing. And we're going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about. If a label wants to sign you to a development deal, like I said before, and they want $2,000 or $3,000 or however much money it is, say you guys figure it out and you go, all right, yeah, we can do this if it's like 6 months. Okay, yeah, we can pull it off. And maybe you take out a loan and the other couple of guys in your band take out a loan and you all match. Great. What if the 6 months comes and they tell you to go f yourself? Now what are you gonna do? Now whose fault is it? Who's mad? Who's broke? You know who's broke? All of you. And you have almost nothing to show for it. And that is a really tough pill to swallow. And most of us can't even afford to swallow that pill. That is something that doesn't get discussed very often, and it needs to be, because it is probably one of the most, if not the most important factor of this whole thing is money. And the last thing that anybody wants is for money to break up a band. You guys are a band to create music that will last forever. You don't want something like dollars to f that up. Always keep that in the front of your mind. Now, going back to what I was saying about being independent, everything's in your control. And if it's slow, it's because of you. If it's going great, it's also because of you. Everybody needs to work together. Everybody has responsibilities within the band. Everybody should be taking care of all those responsibilities, making sure that everybody and everything about your band is going as best as it possibly can at all times. Everybody kicks in, everybody wins. Simple. Has to be a team effort. You guys are in this together. You need to work together. You need to live and eat and breathe and cry. You have to feel wins together. You have to feel losses together. That's the only way that you get all this to kind of grow and make sense to each other. It means more. Feel those wins, feel those losses, put that time in, and I guarantee you it'll make everything so much better, even if you choose to stay independent, which is great because the amount of money that you have to put up is a lot less, but it's also more upfront. With labels, they might front you X amount of dollars, but you also get no money until they get what they put up plus interest, and then plus what they're going to take on top of it. I think for us right now and for quite a while, we like being independent. We like setting our own goals. We like having everything within our control. If we need something, we pay for it. We don't front it and then get a f***ing bill for who knows how much later on. No, we're not doing that. If a label opportunity came up and it made sense to all of us, then we would consider it at that point. I'm not shutting labels out. I'm just saying for right now, for what we're doing, the position that we're in, independent is the way to go for us. What you guys need to do is, if it all comes to pass and you guys have everything going on and it's working great, think about what's best for you as a band. Everybody in the band has to kick in their thoughts and ideas and how they feel about the situation. And it all needs to be weighed collectively because it's not one person making the decision. Everybody is going to live through that. If one person doesn't have any money and you're trying to pay thousands of dollars towards a development deal, it's going to be very tough on that person. And that needs to be taken into account. If you're all going in this, it's all got to get weighed. Think about it and then do what's best for you guys. All right, guys, I want to say thanks again very much for you tuning in this week. I do appreciate it so very much that you guys watch these videos. All I'm trying to do is to give my point of view on what can help you. And please take that however you want. There are always going to be people that disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate everything and anything that you guys do for me, and not just for me, but for us as the band, and for what you do for other bands out there. Because seriously, we appreciate it so much. So always make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the page, make sure that you're sharing the videos. Please, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the description. DM us. I don't care how you get a hold of us. Let us know. We would be happy to answer them or help you guys out in any kind of a way. And like always, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Happy Monday. Later.